welcome to Danielle's backyard. Today we are going to be sowing flowers. I got sunflowers, cosmos, and zinnias that I'm going to be planting out. And we're going to be planting corn. Not all of my corn, but a good bit of it. I think we're going to do 2 bedfuls. And I got to find somewhere in this garden to put spaghetti squash and sugar pie pumpkins. I don't know where I'm going to because they vine out and I don't want them in the pathways. I want them kind of go this way in the garden. But the bed situation's kind of not exactly right. I think I got 2 pepper beds I can do them in, but we'll see later on. But for now, we're gonna get this bed ready for sunflowers. I'm thinking a big group of sunflowers growing up in the center and then cosmos going around. So right now, I'm just gonna level this dirt out because I pulled cilantro from this bed. And they had really nice roots. So what I was saying, I'm gonna go with sunflowers in the middle here. I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5 right in the center. Do like a square and then 1 right in the center. I think it's gonna be really pretty. I really think that a garden deserves flowers. You deserve something pretty to look at while you harvest food. I'm going to do 2 per hole because these sunflower seeds are older seed. So there's our 5 right in the center. And then I'm going to go around with cosmos. So this is my first time growing cosmos. They're annuals, but you can easily save seed from them. And they will self-seed everywhere in your garden, I've read. So that's what I like. I like zinnias for that same reason. There's zinnias sprouting all over the place from last year's garden. And I saved a whole bunch of seed from zinnias. My favorite colors I saved seed from. And I'm hoping to do the same with cosmos. But since these sunflowers are yellow, I didn't want to go in with more yellows and oranges. I'm going to go in with a pink and a white. And these are a Sensation Picotee. Let's see, 1/4 inch, so you barely put them in the dirt. So these are cosmos seeds. And when something says 1/4 inch, you just want to barely put them under the ground. Some people would even sprinkle them, but I'm just going to barely put them under there. Just make a little slightly indentation and just barely cover them up with soil. And I grow thicker than what the spacing says to do. I've learned over the years of gardening that the spacing a lot of times is for commercial growing. You know, wide enough so they can get machines through. And we just don't have to deal with that, especially in a raised bed garden. You can grow a lot closer than recommendations are on the packet. So this is where we're going to be putting our corn. It is at the very far end on the north side of my garden so that it will not shade in the afternoons anything that's growing on the south side or the north side of it. That's what you want to do. These are tomatoes. They grow tall, so they're at the very north side of my garden. Everything that's short growing is on the south side. But corn is another thing. The information on the back is more like commercial harvesting. They have to have enough room to get those machines through there to harvest. But we don't have to worry about that in a raised bed garden. So I literally put my corn about every 6 inches apart everywhere in the bed. Corn, it pollinates itself with this tassels. And when the wind blows, that pollen from those tassels are just blowing, and you want a very thick group of corn so to make sure that it pollinates. You want more than 1 row, and you want them pretty packed together. If you just do 1 row, it's going to be very hard for it to pollinate when that wind blows and the pollen to drop on the corn tassels and the corn silks. So I'm going to do about 4 rows of corn in this bed. I'm going to plant it pretty heavy. And plus, they also help support each other when we get some pretty fierce winds through this field over here. And my corn gets blown over a lot of times during a big storm. So growing it thick also helps it and stays upright. But I'm going to plant this corn about every 6 inches apart. This won't be enough to like preserve or anything. This is gonna be mostly what I'm gonna grow in my raised beds, is just for fresh eating throughout the summer. We will never get tired of eating fresh corn, but this fall we are planning on tarping a big spot out in the back half of our land here to have a big plot of corn for next year. Tarping it is going to kill off that grass under there, and we can go through there and remove all that grass next spring before we put in our corn. We will plant every bed that's empty now in corn, but it's still, I don't think we're going to be able to get enough in this raised bed for preserving. Which it seems like it's going to be a lot of corn, but seriously, who gets tired of sweet corn during the summer? I don't see us getting tired of it, and I see us eating a lot of it. But that's my first row, and I'm just going to go over 6 more inches and do another row of corn. Alright, that's my second row. It's my second row. It's thick, but we're going at it. We'll get a lot of corn. I'm pretty sure we will. So we got 2.5 rows from that one pack. I may be going a little bit tighter than 6 inches. I need to start spreading them out a little bit more. So I'm on my 4th row on my second pack. And I'm going about an inch, inch and a half, or an inch or half an inch down. So I got in 2 packs and maybe like 5 more from this pack over here of peaches and cream hybrid in that bed. And I'm gonna go in with Bilicious hybrid here. And I've only do 1 kernel per hole because I've never had a problem with corn germinating. Matter of fact, corn germinates pretty darn fast. I say within 3 days you'll see it start sprouting up if you keep it well watered. And we're gonna do the same here, every 6 inches and 1 inch deep. And gnats are here. Gnat season is horrible in southeast Georgia. Almost done with this bed. So right here at the edge of our Tabasco bed, I'm going to try to grow some cantaloupe. My son loves cantaloupe. And this is Hearts of Gold variety. Go half an inch deep. And I'm going to try to train these vines not to grow into the beds, but out this way. And once again, I'm ignoring the spacing on these packets. I'm going to get them growing out this way so they don't really need to worry about the room in here. They're going to have plenty of room for their roots inside the bed. I don't have to worry about, you know, the plants spreading. I want the plants to grow out that way, so it's no big deal if they start crossing over each other because they got plenty of room to roam anywhere they want that way. I went in with those cantaloupe seeds on the edge of this bed, and now I'm going to go down to my jalapeno bed and do the same with spaghetti squash. Jalapenos are already starting to bloom and get little peppers, so cute. This is my first time growing spaghetti squash. I'm just really interested in trying it with my homegrown spaghetti sauce that I'm going to make this year. So same thing, I'm going to try to train the vines out over here. This is an area that's very weedy, and if I can get these vines to grow over this area and prevent weeds from growing crazy, I'll be happy. But I'm going about every 5-6 inches. And once again, I'll train them to go out that way so they don't cover my peppers. One time I grew watermelon right in the middle of my garden, and it took over the entire pathways. I mean, it spread everywhere. We got sunflowers and cosmos, and we planted 2 beds of corn very thick. You want to plant them thick, you need that pollination. And we did cantaloupes and we did spaghetti squash. So that is, I mean, everything else from here on out is going to be flowers and corn. And then we might do a succession planting of beans when we get out, you know, the garlic and potatoes. The potatoes are still going. Back behind me, and there's another bed over there. And we got garlic coming out very soon. I'll do a garlic harvest video, see how many cloves we're getting. There's one bed that looks pitiful, but the other beds look good. So we got that soon. We'll do beans probably in those beds. But that is going to be it for today. Come back to Daniel's backyard, see more food being grown.